Sat Nam, and welcome to your practice. For today's practice, you're going to want to have some props on hand. And so what I would recommend is going to be 2 to 3 blankets. These Mexican blankets are awesome. If you don't have those, anything similar to that size would be great. We're just going to fold them up and use them as props. Also, yoga blocks. If you have them, amazing. If you don't even worry about it. We can definitely use the blankets instead. And a yoga bolster, which I do not have, but if you have a yoga bolster, that might be great for Shavasana. All right, so we're gonna start by coming to a comfortable seated position. I recommend sitting on a blanket or a cushion just to elevate the hips. It'll make it a little bit easier to keep a nice, long, straight spine, and then coming into any comfortable seated position for you. So that may look like the legs are crossed, the legs may be extended, whatever feels good for your body. A really important part of the practice that we're going to be doing is cultivating an inner awareness and deep listening within our body. So everyone's anatomy is going to be so different. We're all built differently. So poses will look and feel different for different people. And we have to find the modifications that best suit our anatomy. And that's where it's your job. I am your guide to provide you different options, but it is your job to become very deeply aware of what's going on in your body. And yes, this is right for me. No, this is not right for me. And that's really going to be a part of what we're practicing today. And so our focus and our intention is going to be around cultivating peace within through surrendering. And what I want to say about that is how you do anything is how you do everything in your life. So when you practice cultivating peace on your mat and surrendering on your mat, you get to practice that for in your life. And so throughout the practice today, we are going to be doing yin yoga. Yin is the yoga of surrender. It is a slower paced practice. You will be on the ground for most of these poses. We're holding the poses for about 3 to 5 minutes. So we're working on strengthening and creating mobility within the joints and the tissues. But what that offers us is this. Sometimes it is uncomfortable. We never want to feel pain. If you're feeling any pain or tingling, anything like that, we want to back off, back out of the pose, find a posture that is better suited for you. But we're holding these poses for a while, and that's going to offer us an opportunity to see what is our immediate reaction to discomfort. And so as you sit in these poses and you start to notice, where does the mind wander? What emotions are showing up? That gives you an opportunity to cultivate peace in that moment and become really aware of how you act or what your response is to discomfort. Because if you're doing it on your mat, you're doing it out in your life. And that's the opportunity that yoga has for us. Is it's a very reflective process of seeing, okay, this is what I'm doing, and then practicing being different in that moment, and you practice it on your mat. So the other aspect of this is going to be sound, and we're going to use sound as a way of practicing deep listening today. So during the poses, I will be playing the bowls, I may play the gong a little bit, and that is going to be a tool for you to come back to the present moment. So you're going to use your senses to come back, to be in your body. And as you hear each sound, I want you to notice what you feel in your body. And if at any time there's any outside distractions, there may be noise either from this video, or there may be noise in your own home or your own environment, I invite you to use that as a part of your practice, because life is not always a perfect circumstance that's quiet. And so when you have those distractions, use them as an opportunity to come back to your body, to come back to your practice, and to find your center. So I do recommend, if you have earphones and you want to have a deeper listening experience, that would be great. If not, don't worry about it. Just trust that you're getting what you need here. So with that being said, we will get started. So you're in your comfortable seat. I'm going to invite you to just close the eyes here. Or find a soft gaze, a drishti, which is just a focal point, maybe one thing that you look at in front of you. Otherwise, just closing the eyes. And just start to notice your breath. Is it shallow? Is it deep? Is it fast? Slow? And start to feel the quality of the air as you inhale and exhale against the back of your throat. And as you do this, start to deepen your breath. Maybe we'll invite a count here. So as you inhale for a count of 1, 2, 3, pause, exhale, 2, 3, pause, inhale, 2, 3, pause, exhale, 2, 3, inhale, 2, 3, pause, exhale, 2, 3, pause, inhale, 2, 3, 4, pause, exhale, 2, 3, 4, pause. You can release control of the breath now and just notice any subtle differences in your breath. On your next exhale, relax the shoulders away from your ears. Take another deep breath in. As you exhale, start to kind of push the chin back a little bit. You'll feel a stretch in the back of the neck. Just readjusting your body now that you're a little bit more present. Again, deep inhale. Exhale, relax the muscles of the face. Notice where there's any constriction. Feel your hips heavy on the mat here. And if at any point you're finding that your practice, you're having a hard time remaining focused, I invite you to come back to that count for the breath. Inhaling for a count of 3 or 4, pausing, exhaling for a count of 3 or 4, pausing again. Keeping the eyes closed here. Continuing to breathe. The moment I embrace my peace within and surrender the outcome is the moment that the universe can truly get to work. I want you to just notice what comes up for you when you hear that. The idea that when we embrace peace and surrender, that's when we actually create the opportunity for everything to start working out for us. All right, you can open your eyes now. And before we get into our postures, we're going to start by creating a little bit of space in the spine. And to do that, you're going to come onto your back. Your knees will be bent and your feet will be on the floor. So making your way down. Feet are planted on the floor, knees are bent. Hands can be facing up or down. And as you inhale, you're going to very gently start to arch the spine. It's not a big movement. So as you inhale, the spine arches. As you exhale, the spine rounds. And this is a very subtle movement, so we're not taking big movements, but as you inhale, arching the spine a little bit. Exhale as you tuck the tailbone. Back comes to the mat. Inhale as you arch the spine. Exhale, tucking the tailbone. And we're secluding this movement just to the pelvic area. Inhaling as you arch the low back. Exhaling, tucking the tailbone. Inhale, arching the back. Exhale, tucking the tailbone. And just continue at your own pace with your own breath. Eyes remaining closed. And just allowing this very subtle movement to create more space, to bring you more into the present moment. And as you continue, the next time that you start to arch that low back, you may even feel the chin come towards the chest. And then as you exhale and tuck the tailbone, you may feel the chin move up towards the ceiling a little bit more. And so we're creating some fluidity in the spine here. So as you inhale, the chin tucks a little bit. As you exhale, the chin moves up towards the ceiling. And just allowing these small, subtle movements. Taking it slow, noticing if there's any resistance to slowing down here. Just being aware. There's no judgment, just simply noting like, oh, that's kind of difficult for me to slow down. Got it. Continuing with your inhale and exhalation. Gently creating more fluidity in the spine. And take a couple more breaths here. And then you can come to stillness. And once again, just check in with your body. Notice, what do you feel here? Are there any subtle shifts that have happened with these small and mindful movements? Were there any emotions that showed up or thoughts? What distractions were present for you? And then bringing the knees into your chest, maybe rolling side to side for a moment, massaging the low back. And then making your way onto one side, the right or the left side. Taking a breath here. And as you exhale, pushing yourself up to seated. And I'm going to encourage you today to make all of your movements very slow and mindful, especially with yin yoga. There's a lot of fragility that's created in the body when we're working on releasing some of the tension that are in the tissues and the joints. So very slow and mindful. You have all day to be really fast and speed through everything. Really honor this as a time for you to be very slow and mindful with yourself. So our first posture is a butterfly pose. And what that's going to look like, if you need any support, if you want to put a blanket underneath your hips, you're welcome to. Soles of the feet will come together. And traditionally in yin, the feet are a little bit farther apart. What I want you to be mindful of is where you're feeling the stretch. So because everyone's anatomy is a little bit different, if you're feeling it in the back of the body, it's most likely that that's compression. Now, not the spine. If you're feeling it in the spine when we lean forward, perfectly fine. But what I'm talking about is going to be in the hips. If your legs are farther out and you're feeling it right here, we're going to want to bring those feet towards us instead, so that the idea is that we're actually feeling it on the inner thighs. Now from here, if your hips are really tight, legs are flying high, if this is creating any tension on the knees, that just means that the hips are really tight and we're gonna grab some support. So in that case, you can either grab some blocks and put them on either side, or you can grab a blanket, and what I like to do is roll it up and then place it underneath the thighs. So if you need support, take it. If you don't, I encourage you to not use it, because in yin yoga, we still want to feel a stretch. So if it's not bothering your knees to not have any support, I definitely encourage you to go without it and allow your body to naturally open. So once you found your butterfly pose, you're just gonna start to fold forward, allowing the head to hang here and finding a workable edge. So there's 3 principles in yin yoga, and the first one is that we find our edge. So find a place that you can work in that is not the most intense stretch that you've ever felt, but you're still feeling something. And once you find that, I'm going to invite you to find stillness. And so the only time that we move out of stillness is either to go deeper into the pose, or if you're experiencing any pain. Discomfort is okay, pain is not. Any sharp pains, tingling, you want to back out of the pose. Especially if it's tingling, you may be pressing on some nerves, and we want to avoid that, avoid causing any damage. So taking a couple of deep breaths here. Allow every exhale to create more space in your body. Allow your focus to rest on the sounds that you hear and the sensations that you feel when you hear the sound of the bowls. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, notice if there's any more space that's been created in your body here. Can you go a little deeper? Is the perfect pose for you just staying right where you're at? The third principle of yin yoga is time. So we stay for time in these poses. Notice where you feel the most tension. Send your breath there. Imagine as you inhale, that area being surrounded possibly by a light or a bubble, and as you exhale, imagining that tension moving out of your body. Taking one more deep breath here, and as you exhale, very slowly bringing yourself back up to seated, lengthening the legs out in front of you, maybe even windshield wiping the ankles, or if you want to take a bend in the knees, doing some windshield wipers here. Feet are as wide as the mat, and legs will fall side to side. And just noticing. From here, we're going to go into our next posture. So we're going to counteract folding forward by opening up the front of the chest, as well as creating a little bit of compression in the low back. You're going to want to be mindful of if you're feeling too much compression in your back, then we're going to want to take it down a notch. But meet your body where it's at. What I suggest to have next to you, which will be handy, is having a blanket. You may or may not want to use that. And so to start out, you're going to make your way onto your stomach. You can take the feet out to the corners of your mat. This will just create a little bit more space and release any tension in the low back. From here, we're coming into what is known as a Sphinx pose. And so elbows can be directly underneath your shoulders. If that's too much for you, that's too much compression or maybe too much of an opening in the front of the body, just move your elbows forward as much as you need to. So honoring what your body needs. We're never putting ourselves in a position where we can't maintain the breath. And that's your signal, is if you can't maintain an easy flow of breath, then you've gone too far. Now, if you can use more than this, that's where a blanket folded up underneath the elbows can be really helpful. I wouldn't go any farther than this for the first couple of minutes. So starting in this position, whatever works for you. If you find that your body has more space throughout the practice, you can come onto your hands, and we're pushing ourselves up, and I'll move back a little bit so you can see that. If you have the space to do so, you can come up onto the hands. That is going to create quite a bit of compression in the low back. So just honor your body. There's no pose that is more advanced than the other. They're just different. And so taking a deep breath here, this is a great opportunity to expand the low belly. And as you exhale, relax the shoulders. There's no need to hold up in the shoulders. It's not our target area. And keeping a steady inhale and exhalation here. Deepening the breath, expanding the diaphragm. Every exhale releases any rigidness, any tension, any spaces of holding. We have habitual holding patterns in our body, and so just noticing where you habitually holding stress. Just become aware. want to go any deeper into your posture at this time, now is a good time to do that. Otherwise, just stay where you're at, keeping your awareness on the sounds that you hear and the sensations that you're experiencing in your body. We're going to take another deep inhale here. And as you exhale, start to bring your arms down, bringing yourself all the way down onto your mat. So the forehead can be resting on the hands or the arms. If it feels good for your body, you can slide either the left or the right knee up towards the armpit to release the low back. Otherwise, just keep the legs straight. Again, using this as an opportunity to better know and understand your body. This is the practice of deep listening. We start by listening to the sounds outside of us, and then we start to listen to what's going on within us. And what do you notice here? Notice any subtle sensations that you're feeling in the body. Maybe pulsations or a temperature change. And when you're ready, from here, we're going to push ourselves back into a child's pose. Taking another moment here, just a couple of breaths in child's pose. These moments of transition are really important in yin. So really just enjoy this time to be silent and still. And on your next exhale, you can bring yourself back up to seated, and we're going to get into our next posture. We are going to come into a forward fold. Again, a blanket underneath the hips can be helpful, but it's not necessary. So really just listen to what's going on in your body. So legs will be out in front of us. They can be slightly apart or together. Everyone's anatomy is a little bit different. But we're going to be going into a forward fold here. So once you have your legs out, if you have a lot of tension in the hamstrings and you are not able to lengthen your legs out, you can roll up a blanket and place that underneath the knees, maybe even spreading out the legs a little bit more. But once you've found your posture, you're just going to fold forward again. Now, honor where your body is at. You may be right here. As long as you're feeling a stretch along the spine and maybe even a little bit in the hamstrings, you're doing it. So allow your body to open up. There's no forcing happening here. Allowing the head to hang forward. If that's too much, then just bring the head up. And take some deep breaths here. Where are you feeling the most tension in your body? Now, if this is creating any compression in the low back and this is too much for you, I'm going to invite you to sit up onto a blanket. And your sits bones, the bones of your butt, are just going to kind of slide right off, so that what we're doing is we're creating length right here, and then we're going to hinge at the hips, and you're going to maintain a straight back in the low back. And then you can fold forward. So if you have any lower back issues and you can't have any flexion in the spine, that's what I would do. And then sitting here. Deep inhale. Full exhale. Stay connected to the breath. Notice if your mind is wandering. Just notice where your mind goes and then come back into this moment. Bring your focus back to the sound. Take another deep breath. Notice if you've created any more space, if you can sink into this pose a little bit more. Otherwise, just stay where you're at. Take one more deep breath here in your forward fold. As you exhale, use the arms to slowly bring yourself up. Allow the head to be the last thing that comes up. And before we go on to the next pose, I'm going to invite you to come down to your back and just lay here. Just allow yourself to experience and receive the work that you've done and the space that you've created in your body. The moment I embrace my peace within and surrender the outcome is the moment that the universe can truly get to work. Notice what you feel in your body. Where is there more space? Where are you still holding tension? Just check in. Take one more deep breath. As you exhale, you can slowly make your way up to seated, either by rolling to one side and pushing yourself up, or maybe rolling up to seated, bringing the knees into the chest. We're going to go into our next posture. This pose is called dragon. We're going to be working on releasing tension in the hip flexors. So the hip flexors are the tape recorder of the body. So the body always remembers, right? There are things that maybe we don't remember, we forget, or we just kind of let go of. Well, the body doesn't forget, and it's typically held in the hips. The hips are where we hold a lot of emotions and experiences. And if those emotions and experiences are not properly resolved, or they're not moved out of the body, they can create a lot of stress and tension in that area. And so this posture is really good for releasing that. It's also a posture that I'm going to invite you to be really aware of what your reaction to being in discomfort is, and what is the action you want to take. So for example, if you're in this posture and what you're noticing is irritation and I just can't wait for this to be over, just become aware of that, because that's how you're acting when you're in discomfort in your life. So this is a really great pose for becoming aware of how we're being when we're agitated, or when things aren't going our way, or when we're really hanging on to the outcome of something. So you take action to create something in your life, and then you're just like hanging on to it instead of just surrendering. So this is going to be a posture where I invite you to really surrender and really just, know that this too shall pass. You're not going to be in this posture forever. Some recommendations for props. I recommend having a blanket underneath your knees just to create some support. Other options are going to be blocks if you have them. Blocks will be on either side of your mat. If you do not have blocks, what I'm going to invite you to do is grab 2 blankets and then fold them up so that they create kind of like a cushion. And you're going to want one of those on either side. Again, you may or may not need them, but what's really important, especially in a posture like this, when we're working with an area of the body that holds so much tension, is that we really ease into it. If you go too far too fast, you're just going to create more stress, and that is exactly what we're trying to counteract. So for this posture, we're going to start on hands and knees. And we'll start by bringing that left leg forward. Now, from here, foot can be flexed or it can be straight down. If this is creating too much tension on your knee, before we get into this posture, I'll offer you some. You can either create more padding, or you can put the weight on the shin. So adjusting there, figuring out what you need. The knee can be in between the hands, and then the blocks or the blankets can be used as support. You can also bring the hands in between the legs. So the leg is on the outside here. Let me turn around to make sure that you can see. So the leg is on the outside, but it should be your right leg. Knee is going to be on that blanket. And then we just sit here. So you can be here, or you can be here, and then have your props. If this becomes too much on your wrists, or you have the availability in your body to go deeper, the other option is to come down to the elbows, and that will look like this. I'll let you know when we're halfway through if that's something you would like to do. But for right now, find your posture, find your edge, where's a workable place that you can stay. And just breathe. I'm going to be here for about 3 minutes. Keep breathing. You're over halfway through if you want to go any deeper. Use your breath here. Allow the exhale to create more space in your body. Got 15 more seconds. You can do this. You can do anything for 15 seconds. All right. Deep inhale as you exhale, very slowly and mindfully. Start to bring the hips back. If you would like to lengthen that right leg to create a bit of a stretch in the right hamstring, you can. And then starting to bring that right leg back. And you're going to very slowly move yourself into either a child's pose, or if you would like to come lying down on the mat instead. What do you feel in your body here? Comparing the left and the right side of the body, the left and the right hip. Just become a witness to anything that showed up during that posture for you. What sensations do you feel in your body? Just enjoy this stillness. And taking a deep breath here. As you exhale, we're going to make our way up to seated. You're going to get ready to go on the other side. What I want you to be aware of is that typically one side of the body holds more stress and tension than the other. So as you come into this posture, be mindful of that. You may need more or less support on this side. So just honor that. There's nothing wrong. You're just working with your body, where your body's at. So this time we'll be bringing the left foot forward. So you'll start on hands and knees. If you need any extra support under the knees, grab that now. And then bring that left leg forward, either to the outside of the hands or in between the hands. Grab any support that you need. If you need to have blankets on either side of the hands or blocks, just find your posture and then breathe. Start to settle into this posture. Keep your awareness on your breath and on the sounds around you. Stay connected to your breath. You're halfway through if you want to go any deeper, or stay where you're at. Deep breath in. As you exhale, very slowly start to come out of the posture. Bring that, you may even stretch out that left leg here if you would like. And starting to bring it back next to the right leg. And coming into a child's pose. Child's pose is a pose of surrender. And again, just notice, how does the left side of the body feel? How does the right side of the body feel? What was the difference between the right and the left side in that posture? What emotions came up for you, or ways of being, or reactive tendencies? Where can you see that in your life? Just become aware. There's no judgment, just noticing. And on your next exhale, you can start to come back up to a seated position. We're going to go into our last posture for this practice. And so we're going to reset the body with a twist. You'll come onto your back. I do recommend maybe keeping some blankets close by. You may or may not need that support. Knees are bent, soles of the feet are on the mat. Arms can be, well, I would put arms actually straight out into a T here, or cactus arms. And so cactus arms will look like this. That's not accessible to your shoulders. If neither of those work for you, there's no problem. You can just bring them next to you. Knees bent. We're going to cross the right leg over the left. This is called twisted roots. As you press into the left foot, you're going to lift the hips a little bit and then move them over to the left. Just a tad. Deep inhale. As you exhale, allow the legs to fall to the right side. Now, if your shoulder's coming up, you can grab a blanket, put it kind of under that right hip, and then allow the legs to fall over that way. If crossing the legs doesn't work for you, no worries. Just bring the legs up, have them fall to the right. You can even put a blanket in between the legs here. As long as you're feeling a twist, you're doing it. So find that twist here. You may need to bring the legs a little bit closer or farther away from the body. And then I invite you to take some deep breaths here. Deep inhale, expand the low belly. Exhale fully. Feel where you can create more space in your body with your breath. Notice where you can increase the stretch that you feel with each inhale. So really use the breath to create more space here. As you exhale, relax the shoulders. Notice if you're holding any tension anywhere. And then just allow yourself to be here. as you exhale, very slowly start to bring the knees back into center. And then just lengthening the legs out on the mat here before we go to the opposite side. And use this as an opportunity to check in. How does the left side of the body feel? How does the right side of the body feel? What subtle sensations do you feel? You may feel a slight pulse or a temperature change, maybe a cooling sensation, maybe nothing at all. Take one more inhale. As you exhale, take a bend into the knees again. Back is flat on the mat, knees are bent, soles of the feet are on the mat. And then from here, if you did the twisted roots on the other side, you're gonna now cross the left leg over the right. Press into that right foot, lift those hips, move them over to the right side just a tad. Bring the legs in. As you exhale, twist over to the left side. If that's too much, adding a blanket under that left leg or uncrossing the legs here. Remember, one side might be different than the other. Uncrossing the legs and then just allowing both legs to fall to the left. Adding a blanket in between the knees or underneath that left leg for any support that you need. Find a workable edge. And once you find it, just breathe. Deepen your inhale and exhalation. Notice where you feel the most tension. Breathe into that area. As you exhale, relax the shoulders. See if you can create more relaxation in the hips. Deeply listen to the sounds that you hear. Allow each exhale to relax the body more. another deep inhale here. As you exhale, very slowly bring the knees back to center. Lengthening the legs out onto the mat. And taking a moment just to feel. How does the left side of the body feel? How does the right side of the body feel? Where do you feel more space? Notice any subtle sensations. And from here, we're going to move into our final Shavasana. This is the final resting pose, and this is where your body really gets to receive all the benefits of the work that you've done. So there's nothing for you to do but simply be. What's most important is that you feel effortlessly supported. So taking any props that you need, possibly a blanket or a pillow underneath the knees to support the low back, maybe a blanket or a pillow under the head. If wherever you're at is a little bit cold, you may want to cover yourself up with a blanket. Just any props that you need to support your body in completely relaxing. So just getting situated here. And taking some deep breaths. I'll walk you through relaxing the physical body here. I'm going to start by bringing your awareness to all of the contact points between your body and the mat beneath you. Feeling the feet, hips, back of the body, arms, back of the head. Just noticing all of those contact points. And then bringing your awareness into the feet. Allow the feet to be heavy here. Let go of any holding. Just allow the feet to be effortlessly supported. Calves are relaxed, soft on the mat. Relaxing the knees. Releasing any holding in the thighs and the hips. Just allowing them to be. Feeling this sense of ease and relaxation moving up the body into the abdomen, the chest, and the shoulders. Take a deep breath in. Let go. Feel the body let go. Feel the shoulders relax. Feel into the arms, the elbows, the wrists, the fingers, and the hands. Heavy on the mat. The whole body, heavy on the mat. Releasing any tension in the neck. Relaxing the jaw, releasing the tongue. Feel the cheekbones become soft. Eyebrows, forehead, and eyelids let go. Feel the whole head relax, the whole face, the whole body, completely at ease. Nothing for you to do, nowhere for you to be, besides here. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, sigh it out. Notice the quality of the air on your skin. Again, feel all the contact points between your body and the mat beneath you. Feel an overall sense of gratitude for this body and for this time that you have spent creating more space within your body, creating more space for peace and surrender, and knowing that by practicing this, you will experience that in your life. So just say thank you to yourself for taking time to take care of you, for taking time to practice surrendering, to practice experiencing peace, even in moments of discomfort. You can very slowly start to wiggle the toes and the fingers, maybe rotating the wrists and the ankles here. When you're ready, stretching the arms overhead, stretching the feet as if waking up from a nap, just extending the whole body. And bringing the knees into chest, maybe rolling side to side here. Just enjoying this time. When you're ready, making your way to one side and staying on one side for just a moment, and just notice the difference between how you felt when you started this practice, how you felt during, and how you feel now. Bringing yourself up to a seated position, eyes closed, you're at a soft gaze. Hands can be on the legs or at heart center in a mudra of reverence and honor. I want to thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to share something that is so special to me and that I love so much. And I just want to honor you for taking time out of your day to do this. Thank you so much. Taking a deep inhale. Exhaling fully. Namaste.